Hi friends, how are you guys on this first day of the week? It is letter A week for us. Yay, we're starting the alphabet. And one of the things that we're going to be talking a lot about this week is something that you eat. It starts with the letter A. So A says ah, ah. Starts with that sound. Something you eat. It's a fruit, and you can get it in different colors. It comes in red, yellow, or green. What do you think it is? Did you say apple? It is apple. It's an apple. Here's a red, green apple, yellow apple, or red apple, right? So these are paper apples. Do you have any real apples at your house? I hope so. We're going to be talking and learning a lot about apples. So our very first letter A book is called Apples. See right here? That is A, uppercase A. And this word spells apples. So this is a book called a non-fiction book, and that means it's going to teach us about something and make us smarter. It's not a made-up story, a fiction book. It's a non-fiction book, which means it's true. It's teaching us something. Apples by Gail Gibbons. Look, there's a yellow apple on the front too, and a green, and two reds. An apple is a fruit. So look, see where they're at? Apples grow on trees, right? It grows on an apple tree. Apple trees are in more parts of the world than any other kind of fruit tree, so it's the most popular. They've been in existence for about 2 million years. Wow. Apple trees have been around a long time, 2 million years. The first colonists brought apple seeds and seedlings, so that's what you call a very small young tree. Those are called seedlings. They brought them over from England. As the colonists moved westward, they brought apple seeds and seedlings with them. Some settlers found out that the Native Americans had already brought apple seeds west, and they had apple trees growing near their villages. That's a lot of apples in her basket there, isn't it? Many times during the early 1800s, John Chapman traveled throughout the wilderness of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Indiana, planting apple seeds. He also gave seeds and seedlings to the settlers there. He became known as Johnny Appleseed. Have you ever heard of Johnny Appleseed? Mrs. Merrill knows a Johnny Appleseed song. Maybe I'll have her sing it to you in the next video. Some apples are grown at home, so some people maybe would have an apple tree in their yard. But most apples are grown commercially. That means in big orchards. Each year, about 250 million bushels of apples are grown in the United States, and about 28 million bushels are grown in Canada. A group of apple trees is called an apple orchard. Have you ever been to an apple orchard? We have a couple really close to us to Bloomington Normal. There's Tanner's Orchard and there's Curtis Orchard that are within an hour drive from here. So maybe your family could go to the orchard. An apple is a firm, crisp, fleshy fruit with a hard center in the middle. Do you know what the middle part of an apple is called? The part that you don't eat is called the core, an apple core. Have you heard of that? The core has 5 seeds. Just like maybe you're 5 or you're going to be 5 next birthday. An apple has 5 seeds. They're in their seed chambers. So here are the parts of the apple: the stem, the seed chambers, the fleshy part, the white part, that's the part we eat, right? And do you know what the outside of an apple is called? Something that we have too as humans: skin, the skin of the apple. And you can eat the skin of the apple. It's actually really healthy for you to eat the skin of the apple. It has lots of fiber and vitamins and minerals, things that are good and healthy for you. I'm going to hold the book like this. In the springtime, flowers called apple blossoms begin to bloom on the apple trees. So see these, they're kind of a pinkish white flower. Those are called apple blossoms. So those have to grow on the apple tree first. Do you see any apples yet? This is still an apple blossom there that hasn't opened quite yet. No apples yet, just flowers. Each blossom has to be pollinated in order for the apple to grow. The blossoms are usually pollinated by insects. What insect is there doing the work of pollinating? It's a bee, right? A bumblebee. They're very important. So insects help pollinate them, and the wind helps pollinate them. Okay, now these are starting to look more like apples. After a while, the blossom falls off and an apple starts to grow. So is it red when it starts growing? It's not. Right now it's green, right? Throughout the warm summer, the little apples grow bigger and bigger and bigger. During the late summer or early fall, which is what it is right now, right? We're in September, the middle of September. It's late summer, early fall. The apples will get ripe on the trees. See, now this one is actually a yellow apple. It's called a Golden Delicious. Sounds yummy, huh? When the trees are loaded with ripe apples, it's called harvest time. Workers pick the apples by hand. So what are they using? They're using baskets, right? And it looks like he has a bag that he's emptying into the basket. Look, the dog's helping. And they're using ladders to get up high in the tree to pick the apples. Some of the apples are shipped to stores, and some are used to make all of these yummy things. Look at all the yummy things that are made from apples. Apple juice, apple cider, apple jelly, apple sauce, and lots of other apple products are made from apples. Some apples are sold in baskets at fruit stands at the orchard. During the fall is a great time to go apple picking. Sometimes there are fairs and awards are given to the best apples, the best tasting, the best looking, the best apples for apple pie. I love apple pie. The most delicious applesauce and apple cider. Have you ever drank apple cider? It's a little different than apple juice. What are these children doing? It looks like they're going trick-or-treating, doesn't it? During Halloween, sometimes you see caramel apples or candied apples. And some people bob for apples. They have apples in water and they're trying to pick them up with their mouth, not their hands. That's a game sometimes they play in the fall. People play. Oh, look what happened to the apple trees. What time of the year do you think it is here? Winter, huh? See the snow? And the child's all bundled up warm to play in the snow. So when winter arrives, the apple tree branches become bare and the trees become dormant until spring. So that means they're not dead, they're dormant. So they don't have any leaves or apples. So they kind of look like they're dead, but they're not. They're sleeping in the winter. Dormancy is kind of like the tree's hibernating. It's going to sleep for the winter. When the trees are dormant until spring, and then in the spring, the trees will produce a new start with a new crop of apples. Okay, so here's some different apples and their names. So depending on what kind of apple it is, it has a name. Did you know that? It's not just called an apple. This one's called a Rome Beauty, a Macintosh, a Red Delicious, a Golden Delicious, a Jonathan, a Stamen, a York, a Granny Smith. Granny Smith, that's kind of a funny name for an apple, isn't it? One of my favorite apples is called a Pink Lady apple. It's not pink, it's red, but it's kind of sour. I like sour, more sour than sweet apples. I like jazz apples too. Those are yummy. Okay, so this talks about how to plant an apple tree. Do you think you put an apple in the ground to plant an apple tree? You actually don't. You put their seeds in the ground to plant an apple tree. Most apple trees grow to be about 20 feet tall. The soil around the trees have to be taken care of, and the trees have to be pruned and fertilized so that they can have good apples growing on them. Okay. Apples are good for you. And this person is putting apples in the top there. This is called an apple press, and look what's coming out the bottom. Apple juice. That's where we get apple juice from, is from apples, right? They squeeze them and get all the juice to come out. They are nutritious and delicious. You know, there are thousands of kinds of different apples. Those are called varieties. So the next time you go to the grocery store with Mommy or Daddy, maybe you can ask them if you can go in the produce section, if Mom or Dad can read the different signs of the apples there, all the different kinds that they have at the store. They don't have thousands of different kinds at the store, but they'll probably have 8 or 10 different kinds that you and your family can read the signs. Okay? And in your lesson plan packet, I put a link to an apple orchard virtual field trip that you guys can watch. And I'll send it again through Brightwell. Okay? Well, I will see you on the next video for circle time and letter A. And then Mrs. Merrill will see you on an apple activity video. Bye-bye.